Hidden in ancient lore is the concept of undead fairies. This idea combines the spooky aspects of undead mythology with the seductive charm of fairy legends to create an intriguing and unsettling story. Usually portrayed as colourful, enchanted creatures, fairies are intimately associated with the natural world, representing both its beauty and its irrationality. Conversely, people often associate undead entities with death, deterioration, and a menacing disruption of the natural order. The combination of these two archetypes creates a strange and unusual hybrid known as undead fairies. Undead fairies are often imagined as beings that have either resisted death through supernatural means or have been cursed to an eternal, restless existence. In contrast to their vivacious counterparts, these fairies may appear withered, their eyes empty and their once glowing skin pallid, giving off an air of melancholy and evil. Their wings, which had once glistened with colour and light, may now be translucent and ragged, fluttering with a ghostly, unearthly glow. Their metamorphosis from life to undeath leaves them as tragic figures forever trapped between two worlds. There are various stories and myths that explain the existence of undead fairies. Curses and evil magic, to start with, are important. Like many other magical creatures, fairies are vulnerable to strong curses and evil spells. A malicious power or a spiteful sorcerer may curse a fairy, turning it into an undead creature that loses its life force but retains its twisted magic. Fairies are susceptible to such negative impacts since they are closely associated with the supernatural in many folklore traditions. People frequently use the transformation of a light bearer into an undead monster as a powerful metaphor for what happens when one tinkers with evil forces or violates holy taboos. Mythology creates undead fairies for other reasons. Certain stories claim that fairies who die violently, betrayed, or by using forbidden magic cannot rest in peace for the rest of their eternity. Rather, they resurrect as undead creatures motivated by unfulfilled resentment or a desire for retribution. Perhaps these doomed fairies still haunt their death's locations, drawing the gullible into their dark kingdoms. Furthermore, myths about nature indicate that it aims for harmony. If fairies are symbols of life and energy, then the undead could appear as a natural contrast representing death and decay. The existence of dark mirrors in creatures of light results from the need to maintain a balance between nature's dualism and the supernatural. The season's cyclical pattern, in which life and death are constantly at odds, demonstrates this equilibrium and implies that fairies, as manifestations of nature, are not exempt from this never-ending cycle. Strong necromancers who could raise the dead might hunt down fairies for their natural magical abilities, turning them into terrifying minions. Folklore frequently depicts human sorcerers using fairy magic, turning the fairies' inherent abilities into a double-edged blade. Because fairies have a special ability to alter nature and enchant items, necromancers may seek them out, seeing in them a chance to enhance their own dark powers. Aside from that, the idea of failing at immortality is fascinating. Fairies are frequently thought to be eternal. In some tales, though, their efforts to elude death or prolong their lives artificially may backfire, leaving them with an undead existence. The notion that immortal creatures, like fairies, could succumb to their own thirst for power and perpetual youth is a terrible irony in their stories. The Seelie and Unseelie courts, which stand for the duality of beneficial and evil fairies, are central to fairy mythology. Particularly, the Unseelie court often harbours ominous and malicious fairies who relish in causing harm to people. The Unseelie court is where one is most likely to come across undead fairies. Given their inherent tendency toward evil, these dark fairies may be more vulnerable to curses and dark magic, which could cause them to turn into undead creatures. The Unseelie court is the home of some of the most terrifying and evil fairies in legend. Therefore, it makes sense that undead fairies would have their origins there. People believe vampire fairies to be seductive yet dangerous creatures, drawing their unusually long lifespan from the blood or life energy of other living things. These beings may be able to entice prey with their alluring looks, but their actual motivations as predators will become apparent. One example is the legend of the Baobun Sith, a Scottish fairy believed to entice men with its beauty before sucking their blood. This fairy highlights the fine line between enchantment and terror with its alluring and dangerous combination, making it a captivating figure in the pantheon of undead beings. One could portray ghoulish fairies as hideous, warped reincarnations of their previous selves, driven by a ravenous desire to consume living things. These fairies may prowl neglected ruins or old forests, feeding on anybody who ventures too near. The metamorphosis of a fairy into a ghoul-like state often signifies the complete loss of their previous elegance and beauty, replaced by an insatiable hunger. On the other hand, zombie fairies may be mindless and motivated only by primal impulses. These might be the product of a curse or a widespread magical illness that resurrects dead fairies into shambling husks. Even though they may not be as smart and crafty as their living counterparts, their sheer might and unrelenting behavior are quite dangerous. This idea is similar to the more general revenant folklore in connection with fairy lore. Zombie fairies could serve as a somber reminder of the perils of unbridled magic and the tenuous lines separating life and death. Having a liaison with lich fairies would be truly terrifying. These creatures would be fairies who enacted sinister rites to bond their souls to their deteriorating bodies in an attempt to obtain ultimate magical power or endless life. Liches are strong opponents since, in contrast to other undead fairies, they still possess their magical abilities and intelligence. They would probably know more about dark magic than any living fairy, and their goals would be to corrupt or rule over entire kingdoms. The Lich Fairy, a creature that has given up its inherent essence in favor of limitless power, is a symbol of the greatest perversion of fairy magic. There is always danger involved when humans interact with undead fairies. Undead fairies frequently have darker intentions than living fairies, who may interact with people out of curiosity or for harmless mischief. Either as part of a malicious curse or out of a yearning for company in their suffering, they may try to entice living things into their cursed state. Experiencing the unearthly impact of undead fairies on the living can lead to disease, insanity, or even death. Nevertheless, not all undead fairies are completely evil, even though they might be terrifying. According to certain traditions, they still possess a semblance of the beauty and enchantment that they once possessed. In these tales, they could show up to alert people to approaching peril or ask for help lifting the curse that binds them. These stories give the fairy mythology of the undead a deeper level of nuance by depicting them as tragic characters who need compassion and atonement, rather than just being objects of terror. The concept of undead fairies offers a haunting and captivating glimpse into the transformation of even the most alluring creatures into terrifying forms, obfuscating the boundaries between magic, death, and life in a seductive manner. This theme offers a rich tapestry for storytelling in fantasy literature and other creative forms, in addition to enhancing the fairy tale. The innate beauty and grace of fairies contrast with the hideous and terrifying elements of undeath, deepening the complexity of these mythological creatures and opening up a world of creative and literary interpretation.